Now, during an emergency like this, one word you hear a lot is resources. Usually you hear it in terms of what first responders have to do to help the situation, manpower, water, aircraft, things like that. But there are other key resources in this chaos that are just as important. Time and attention are two of the biggest ones. And right now, leaders are being forced to waste those precious resources to deal with online misinformation and flat-out rumors. The public information officer for the Los Angeles Fire Department told the Wall Street Journal this, quote, "We're trying to battle the most devastating natural disaster in Los Angeles history. It takes people and time to track down or debunk social media rumors. It takes us away from doing much more important things." I want to talk about this and bring in Anna Merlan, senior reporter for Mother Jones. She covers technology, extremism, and disinformation. Help us understand this. Why are leaders like the governor and agency heads like the fire department being forced to respond to, tweet rumors that start by random accounts, but then pick up so much steam that you've got the governor having press conferences to address this stuff?
Well, much like the fires that we're seeing here in Los Angeles, we're facing a perfect storm. There has been a huge outgrowth in climate-related misinformation at the same time that social media companies have effectively elected not to police it anymore. Last week, Meta announced that it will no longer be conducting the same level of fact-checking on factual claims that it used to. Earlier, companies like Twitter, now known as X, made similar choices. And in the absence that vacuum creates, we have disinformation spreading, sorry to say it, like wildfire.
But what makes wildfire, what makes this situation so ripe for misinformation and rumor spreading? Is it that people are so panicked and starved for information and so easily triggered because we're all on edge?
Yes, I can definitely speak for myself. I'm very on edge. Yes, so there's a couple of things here. One is that every natural disaster, especially recently, has been subject to the same kinds of conspiracy theories and misinformation, especially when, as in the cases of these fires, the causes are not yet well understood. People are looking for someone to blame. They're confused. They are frightened. And into that gap, bad actors appear to offer explanations that they think will be good to grow their audience, frankly, in a lot of cases. And also you have folks just searching on social media for news about these situations. And so these folks know that they will be able to grab some eyeballs that way.
Is that what happens when, because of monetization and social media algorithms, those quote unquote bad actors are financially motivated to spread rage as far and wide as they can?
I mean, yeah, it is important to point out that X specifically verified accounts now are able to monetize their posts. So in some cases, it could be argued that people have a financial incentive to spread information that creates engagement. And in some cases, that is going to be false information that makes people feel angry, nervous, scared, on edge, and want to keep tuned in to find out what happens next.
You wrote about how it's not just rage out there, that there are actually plenty of people, I can't even believe I'm saying this, celebrating these fires on social media. What in the world is going on?
Unfortunately, one of the things that we are seeing on social media is that because Los Angeles is a large city, it is a very diverse city. It is also a city where there are a lot of celebrities. Some folks are saying, that this is poetic justice, that this is, I today saw an influencer suggesting that this was literally a punishment from God. These are very disturbing claims. They're very ugly. And again, I fear that we will see more of this going forward because climate disasters are going to affect all of us. And there's always going to be somebody out there to celebrate who it's happening to.
Well, we're certainly not celebrating any of it, and we're going to keep covering the truth every night. Anna, thank you for your reporting, and I hope you get through this week okay. I know it is a dangerous and scary time in L.A. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And speaking of online rage, right now there's a lot of anger aimed at insurance companies in Los Angeles. That is because just months ago, they told many homeowners in the area that their home insurance policies would be dropped. So let's just talk about it. I want to bring in Ben Collier, Temple University Associate Professor of Risk Management and specifically insurance. This is such a complicated topic. It is easy for people to see that headline, to look at these homes burning and say, what were these insurance companies thinking? How could they cancel policies? Can you just explain the rage that the insurance companies are facing? Why did all of this happen?
Great. So thank you, Stephanie, for having me on. And my thoughts and prayers are with the families dealing with this tragedy and seeing so many difficult personal stories like including on your show, including challenges with insurance. So thank you for covering that. The California insurance market was already in a tough spot before this event. Just like many of us, insurers have been looking out the window and seeing that wildfires are getting more frequent and more severe. And the risk has grown even compared to a decade ago. And so insurers bear the cost of repairing and replacing their policyholders' homes. So for insurers, greater risk means greater costs, which means they have to charge higher prices to stay in business. This is true across the board, across the U.S. These dynamics are certainly happening in California. They're happening in hurricane-prone places like Florida and Louisiana, but they're also happening in the Midwest due to severe storms and flooding in Vermont. And so one thing that's different about California is it's very tough for insurance companies to adjust the premium rates that they charge.
Why?
And so the problem has gotten so bad that a number of insurers have decided to leave the state.
But go back. So yeah. If I'm an insurance company and it's going to cost me way more to offer these policies because of the risk, why not just raise people's premiums? They won't like it, but at least it will offer them actual insurance. Why just drop them completely? Why did that happen in California?
It's much more difficult in California than most states because of a crisis in the 1980s that was unrelated to homeowners insurance markets or the current challenges today. There's a proposition that voters passed in the state of California that limited the amount that insurers could raise their rates. So, this was not today. This was a different time in a different place. But the implications of it today is that insurers are limited in their ability to adjust, and many of them decide that they'd rather not participate in the market than offer the low rates that are low relative to their costs. So fewer insurers. Go ahead.
Then isn't this situation going to get even worse? Like, I get it in theory, right? Even if it was in the 80s, people said insurance prices are out of control, so we're going to cap what insurance companies can charge us in terms of premiums. But the insurance companies then turn around and say, well, listen, at that price, we can't stay in business if we provide insurance, so we're going to pick up and leave. Okay, if that's the situation that we're in California, and we know we're going to see more and more severe weather events, do you foresee insurance going away completely in places like California or the Midwest or down in Florida?
No, I don't think insurance is going away completely. To make homes more insurable, we do need to build differently. We need to think about where we're living. Insurance is not disappearing. And I think the point is a good one that California is different than other states. We have a lot of models. Each state has its own insurance market. So we have many models where we can see other states where insurance prices have gone up, but they're available. What's happened in California is many insurers have exited. More and more people are relying on a state-run insurer of last resort called the FAIR Plan. It's grown by like 9 times since 2018. It's a high-risk area. It's a high-risk pool. It's expensive to get coverage. The coverage is much less generous than other insurers. And that state-run pool is running out of resources. Its resources are going to be exhausted in this event. So I think one of the challenges of limiting the abilities of insurers to adjust their rates is that more of the burden of recovery falls on the state.